Hi, I'm Jane King, and this is New to the Street in person back here at the NASDAQ market site in New York City. This show is all about public, private blockchain companies, the CEOs, the founders, and the innovators bringing you lots of opportunities to consider. Here we go. Sunwest Mortgage Company is a family-owned mortgage banker with operations both in the United States as well as the Caribbean, and they focus on mid to low income home loans. So with me is the CEO, Pavel Agarwal, to explain the company and kind of where you go from here. So welcome. And I was surprised to hear you've been around for decades. So give me a little history of Sunwest.
Well, sure, Jane, and thank you for having me. So Sunwest, my father started the firm in 1980. And we've basically been focused on just delivering quality service and connecting with every single family and caring about every single family. And in that long, steady, continuous process of how we serve our community, we've grown across the country. And now in that process, we have learned to connect both human to human and human to technology. So what we're launching now is something very exciting that we call empathetic technology. And I believe we're the first to launch empathetic technology, a practical application of it. It's been in the laboratory for years. So we have a first real working ability for a computer to interact with you in a way that you lead and you direct the system, especially on a very personal situation like a home mortgage where you're discussing your finances. We put you in control as opposed to the computer being in control.
And then we've clearly seen interest rates on the rise, in particular over the past couple of weeks. How has that impacted your business?
Well, I think the market has changed significantly over the last 18 months, 12, 18 months. And the rising interest rates, we went from 6 months ago, or even a few months ago, from 6, 7 offers, 10 offers on a property, which we solved that problem with what we have a true approval product. But we went from 6, 7 offers to now 1 or 2 offers, and it's actually in a way, although premiums have gone up a little bit, it's actually in a way helping lower income and middle income families, people with FHA financing, because they're not competing with as many offers anymore.
That makes sense. And does the technology you're using help with fair lending?
Yes, that's a great question. So here's the thing about fair lending. I personally don't believe that you can achieve equality in lending unless you have equality in service. So everyone talks about fair lending, but can you serve that borrower who's had, for good reason, life events? But the key is that borrower loves his house. Okay, can you serve that borrower equally with the equal level of service and attention as the affluent borrower who, nothing wrong with that affluent borrower, right? He's got 20, 30% down and near perfect credit. But can you serve both of them with the same speed and care, right? And that's where our technology bridges the gap. And if you can serve them both equally and with the same level of attention, and you understand, if you as an organization understand that that person loves his house and he's not going to default, right? Then that's the person you're supposed to do a loan to.
Okay.
So one of our underlying philosophies and how we underwrite and how our decision process works is that, would you lend your money to this customer if it was your own money? Right? So everyone in the organization, the way we look at it is this is money in my pocket. Would I lend it to him or her if it was your own money and not, investors' money or not, government insured money?
Oh, that's an interesting philosophy. And then you have a Game On event. So explain what that is and how people can get involved.
Yes. So a week from tomorrow, we have a wonderful event. It's in Las Vegas, and you can register at swmc.com/gameon. And we have two of the greatest mentally disciplined people, great athletes, Terrell T.O. Owens and Yvonne Paz Rodriguez. They're the best of the best champions, and they're going to train and teach you what it takes to have a champion mindset. And also they're going to be using our Morgan technology, which is all about empathetic, connecting, easy to use, bringing equality and fairness to lending process.
Okay. Thank you so much, Pavan, for joining us and telling us about Sunwest.
Thank you, Jane. Cheers.
Growing clones in-house can severely drain both quality and costs for cannabis and hemp businesses. Pharma Biotech is the key to growing high-quality plantlets. Pharma services includes premium tissue cultured starter plantlets and live preservation of any plant species. Grow into the future of optimized plant growth with Pharma. See our update at update.pharmagreen.ca.
Tonix recently announced data from 3 oral presentations at the 2022 American Transplant Congress by faculty at the Center for Transplantation Sciences at Massachusetts General Hospital. And with me to explain the significance of this is CEO Seth Letterman. Great to see you again, Seth.
Thank you for having me on, Jane.
So let's talk about this. So this data involves studies of the Tonix 1500 product candidate for the prevention of organ transplant rejection. So what did the data tell us about that?
It was a very exciting day, and I was glad to be there in person. The faculty from Massachusetts General Hospital, which is a part of Harvard Medical School, are collaborating with us to study Tonix 1500 in transplantation. And they got really interesting results in both kidney transplant and heart transplant. And this is a monoclonal antibody, which is one of the biggest categories in the pharmaceutical sector, because monoclonal antibodies are so specific and they have such great therapeutic potential that, except for Pfizer's mRNA vaccine, the biggest products in pharmaceuticals tend to be monoclonal antibodies. What the results showed was the treatment with Tonix 1500 prevented the rejection of kidneys or of hearts in monotherapy, meaning that they could be just used alone with only this therapy.
Okay.
So this is a really potential new treatment to prevent organ transplant rejection.
Oh, interesting. And the monoclonal, by the way, I think we've all become familiar with that term. We've all gotten a lot more familiar with pharmaceutical terms, I think, over the past couple of years. Okay, so that's major. So this was an initial trial, or what's next for this?
The Tonix 1500 interacts with a molecule in the immune system called CD40 ligand. And people have tried to make good monoclonal antibodies against CD40 ligand for many years. It's been known that this is a very promising target, but Tonix was able to engineer this particular antibody so it would have all of the activity that people had hoped for, and it did not have the toxicity that had been seen with earlier versions. So the next step, we've guided that we will be in phase 1 trials in humans before the end of this year.
Okay, interesting. So you also recently had a patent issue that provides Tonix 801 and other vaccines that use the same technology with patent protection. So explain that. How long will that protection last?
Well, it's always very exciting to get a patent issued in the United States. The United States has a very high bar for issuing patents. And we were very pleased because this technology is the patent behind our monkeypox and smallpox vaccine. And it's also the patent underlying our vaccines for other conditions such as COVID. And we were gratified by this because we really are leaders in synthetic biology. We actually made this virus specifically to serve as a vaccine for smallpox and monkeypox. So on the one hand, the technology we're using is based on the oldest vaccine technology. It's 220 years old, but actually we're using all of the most modern methods in molecular biology and synthetic biology to bring a novel vaccine to market for smallpox and monkeypox.
Okay, and the patent is till what, 2037 or?
I believe it's 2037.
Yeah. Okay, and any final thoughts about Tonix, where you're headed for the rest of 2022?
Well, Tonix is at a very exciting point. We're working some of the most exciting areas and some of the most challenging areas facing humanity today. Obviously, monkeypox is just breaking out all over the world. Originally came from Africa. Smallpox is a threat because of the risk of malicious reintroduction by rogue nations or terrorists. And one of our most exciting programs that's in the clinic now is for fibromyalgia, which is a pain disorder that causes a lot of disability and will soon be in the clinic with a treatment for long COVID, another big problem. So we have a lot going on at Tonix, and I'm very grateful to you for bringing me on the show to discuss it.
No, I appreciate it. It's always interesting to hear, and important work too. So
thank you.
Thank you so much, Seth.
Thank you.
Okay.
We can do better. Existing security systems are often obsolete and ineffective. Today's challenges require a new approach, a personal approach. RAD Light My Way places personal safety in the hands of everyone.
This area is under live monitoring, activated by RAD Light My Way.
The only way we make a safer world is when we all have a hand in it.
Activated by RAD Light My Way.
Just one of the innovations from AITX. Visit AITX.ai.
Vevo is advancing animal health through innovation. Specifically, it's medical devices and therapeutics for companion animals. And with me is Mark Middleton, who is the National Sales Director at Vevo. Welcome, Mark.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you, ma'am, for inviting me.
Oh, yeah, no, it's great to talk to you. And tell me about your experience in animal health.
Well, I'm definitely older than you. There's no doubt. It goes a long way. I've been in distribution in the beginning of my career for the first 3 decades and got to run a very large company in distribution and learned a lot about that side of the business. Then spent the last 10 years inside of FDA manufacturing, as well as consulting with private equity groups in the merger and acquisition market, opportunities for them inside the animal health space.
So what about all of that made you feel well prepared to take on this role at Vevo?
Well, the first part of my career was dealt with nothing but veterinarians. So I've got to see their side of the business, their side of the medicine side of business, because in the end, they're true medical entrepreneurs. And so how could I help them with the products? But you have to understand the needs and wants and where they're trying to get from a medical outcome standpoint for their patients. And so the veterinary physician has been very, very helpful in my background and training in private practice. And so fully understanding their medical needs, their customer needs, and their patient outcomes, that first 3 decades of my career, that's where I spent it.
And what about the core sales team? Who are you overseeing, and what's the strategy with the sales team? Is it geographic, or how is that all designed?
Yeah, well, since we're a new startup, it's we got all hands on deck, and there's a lot
I know,
going
I've
on.
been there.
I mean, I'm telling you. But the core management team was one of the appealing things to me when you looked at their background in the medical industry from the human side and their connections there. Yeah, from the CEO down through the CFO, through the COO to the scientist, very, very, very smart people. And we've got a good core group of people now that we're building around in business development. So, yeah, when you look at that core group, we have a team of people that understand the financial side, understand the science side, and understand this growth side. Because a lot of times when you're growing a startup, and I've had that a couple of times in my career, patience, persistence, and follow through are the key. And a lot of people in the Wall Street world, and may not have a lot of patience because they want to see activity right now.
That's true.
Well, a lot of times that's not the best move.
Yeah.
But yeah, this company is got the right pieces in place now. We've got a few more to add, but for an all naturally derived product, it will help a lot of situations in medical outcomes.
So is that really the thing that most impressed you about Spring, was the naturalness of it? And I mean, is that what drew you to Pet Vevo?
I think, Jane, there's a couple of main reasons that was so intriguing to me about Pet Vevo. Number one, I like the core group of managers because their backgrounds. But number two, this product, Spring, with OsteoCushion technology, is so disruptive, but it's disruptive in a positive way. A lot of companies will say, well, we've got disruptive products, and they'll grow the market. Well, this isn't a knockoff. This is not a generic. This is not a pharmaceutical. It's a naturally derived product made in the U.S., researched and developed for nearly 20 years in the U.S. market. And it's disruptive in the sense that it's absolutely going to improve medical outcomes for patients that the veterinary physicians are seeing every day. And it's going to grow the market overall for a naturally derived components that have the scientists inside of Pet Vevo have learned how to put them together and have a long period of duration for joint and lameness issues. It's very exciting. And the fact that it's manufactured in the US, all naturally derived components out of the US. When you just look around the last 2 years of our world and how disruptive our everyday life has been, Jane.
Oh, yeah.
You think about all the sourced products from overseas and the difficulty. Well, this is a US-based company, US-based research, and now being marketed to the veterinary physician to help medical outcomes for patients. Yeah, it's pretty exciting.
Oh, well, great to hear about it, Mark. Yeah. Thank you so much for joining me today to talk more about your role at Pet Vevo.
Well, I'm very humbled, and thank you very much for your questions. And I'm humbled to be here and excited for the veterinary community to get their hands on this tool because it's going to help them. It's exciting and it's naturally derived. Thank you, Jane. Have a good morning.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Growing clones in-house can severely drain both quality and costs for cannabis and hemp businesses. Pharma Biotech is the key to growing high-quality plantlets. Pharma Services includes premium tissue cultured starter plantlets and live preservation of any plant species. Grow into the future of optimized plant growth with Pharma. See our update at update.pharmagreen.ca.
Secure, the true solution for your digital privacy and security. Secure is a private and secure messaging and email solution hosted in Switzerland, using proprietary military-grade encryption and Swiss privacy laws, giving you true privacy. Secure doesn't collect or sell your data and doesn't require your phone number or any personal data that hackers target. You can message and email non-secure users privately without the need for others to download Secure. Visit secure.com. Regain and protect your privacy today.
Secure is a way to protect your instant messages, your email. They don't data collect, so it's particularly good for businesses that are looking to discuss some confidential information. And with me, the CEO of Secure, Langahi, to talk about let's talk about the hacks, because it seems like every day there's something, some places getting hacked, millions gone. What kind of things are you seeing lately, these hacks?
So hi everyone for watching us, and thank you for listening to us. So what happened is, the latest news has been the hack of remote work. There's a big trend on remote work. Even though COVID has abated a lot, now companies have that habit of, people are going to work from home in hybrid mode. So 3 days a week, you're going to be home. I was watching yesterday on Bloomberg, and they said 18 to 24-year-olds, if they can't work from home, they want to change their job. So this kind of work from home is going to stay with us.
Now, do Secure products, can they help with that?
Absolutely, okay. And I'll tell you how, because what happened is, when you use Secure with your Secure Send button, for example, you basically can send an email to somebody who is not part of Secure. You go on your webmail. We have an application actually coming mid-June that you don't even have to go on the webmail anymore. And you send to somebody who has Gmail or Outlook or Hotmail, and that person receives a notice. They click on a link, and they can read your message, get as many attachments as you send them, and then they can reply, all of that without having to use Secure. So it's a great way to protect the sender and the receiver. Yeah. Our viewers can go on secure.com. You can go to the support page. We have a video tutorial, and you just check to see how to use Secure Send. Yeah. And it's a part of our normal email service. Now, when you use chat, we all use these free applications, right? We're not going to name them all. Essentially, what happens is, not everybody has Secure Messenger, right? So what happens is, you should be able to chat with somebody securely. So we invented something called Chat by Invite. So if I have Secure Messenger and you don't, I can send you a text. You will get a text. You'll click on a link, and then we chat together. Okay. So it's a pretty amazing
it's encrypted
tool.
On both ends.
It's encrypted on both ends. Basically, you don't need, the recipient doesn't need to download Secure. But then when you're done with your conversation, you can basically terminate the conversation and nobody can get in.
Okay. Now, one thing I think about is, like, I've got this email system years. Is there a way that I can use Secure and like transport all of those contacts over? Okay, you can do that.
Absolutely. So if you have whatever email you have, you can use Secure. You can migrate your old email. You can also, obviously now we launch business emails, and you can also migrate your domain name with us. And if you're just creating a new business, you can basically create your domain, which you bought already, and you configure your email with us. It's super easy to do. You don't need to be an IT technical person to migrate your emails. I would still recommend people to have one of these free email service, because you're going to sign up for newsletter, for gym membership, for anything else. And I would use that free email, which is not private at all, for these kind of things. Because what's happening, unfortunately, is marketers sell your emails. Like my Secure email, I keep it as private as possible. I have another email when I sign up for services.
Got it. So use like that kind of throwaway email for the extra stuff, but any business or confidential use.
And also our email comes with 100 gigabyte of storage. It comes with a privacy tool like Secure Send. It has a bunch of cool tools. The Secure module lets you know when you send Secure Send to someone, it'll let you know if they saw it, when they saw it. You can recall an email. We have archiving capability that we're launching as well. So you can be an individual, a small business, or a huge enterprise and still have all the tools that you need. As a matter of fact, in Latin America, we're starting to sell quite a lot of the secure messenger and now the email as well. These are used by government entities and big companies.
Okay, so let's talk about a little business here. I know that you've raised some money. Can we talk about that?
Sure.
Okay, so tell me about that and the uplisting.
Sure. So we raised, what happened is we have a plan to uplist to NASDAQ. You know, of course, I have to do full disclosure. There's no guarantee we're going to be there, but we have done the process. We had about 5 offers from investment bank. We selected one, and now we started the process. Before that process, we were in the middle of raising money for a few shareholders that missed out on our November raise. So we're going to raise about $500,000. We went to 700,000. The price was 28 cents US with a full warrant at 56 cents for 2 years. And we were happy because we raised more money. We had to stop it at some point because we had a hard deadline of April 19. Because from that date onward, we are starting our process for the SEC filing. So the company has about 5.7 million in the bank, US dollars. 7 point something Canadian dollar, no debt. Today, with the money that we have enough cash, enough runway to go to profitability. However, we plan to uplist to NASDAQ to get more funding as well because we can accelerate the growth. Meanwhile, we've done a pretty good milestone. We just got upgraded to OTC QX. Now, the QX is a very stringent compliance requirement. You need to have operational history and you need to have minimum assets and cash in the bank. So meeting that requirement really is a testimony to how serious we are and what kind of company we are, even though we're a small cap or micro cap. We definitely have the right requirements to meet those higher stringent requirements. So we're excited. The QX, OTC has been amazing with us. Of course, being on NASDAQ opens to the entire globe and also bigger funds, etc.
Right. Okay. Thank you, Alain. Congratulations and best of luck.
Thank you, Jane. Thanks, everyone, for watching.